Who could have imagined that the final heartbeat of the steel giant, whose wings once spanned the vast skies of the Soviet Union, would end beneath the silent waters of a frigid marsh in Ivanovo Oblast? When TASS's terse dispatch cut through the frigid December sky of 2024, announcing the crash of the last airworthy An-22 anti-transport aircraft, what we received was not merely an accident report, but an obituary from a bygone era, a final verdict. This thunderous roar and the ensuing silence formally drew the final curtain on an exceptionally hardcore, ambitious yet brutally rugged chapter in human aviation history. It was far more than just the Russian Air Force losing an aging piece of equipment. Its symbolic significance was profound. The era that embraced the aesthetics of steel torrents, where bigger, heavier, and stronger reigned supreme. That engineering confidence daring to conquer global strategic projection with turboprop engines, along with the last tangible, gasping symbol of the Soviet legacy, sank beneath the waves with this colossus bearing the serial number F09342. Only a gradually fading ripple remains for posterity to mourn and sigh over. Let us turn back the clock to the Cold War skies of the 1960s. At that time, the focus of the US-Soviet rivalry had shifted from land and sea to the heavens, where strategic airlift capability became the invisible yardstick measuring superpower strength. The United States established a global aerial corridor, with its C-141 and C-5 transport fleets, but the Soviet Union, a land giant with vast territories, required an aerial behemoth capable of brutally delivering its massive mechanized armies, including main battle tanks, missile launchers, and other heavy equipment, directly to the front lines or any potential global hotspot. Thus, Antonov Design Bureau presented their solution, the An-22, when it made its public debut at the 1965 Tushino Air Festival. The world gasped in awe. Its colossal frame surpassed even the largest passenger aircraft of the era, while its towering vertical stabilizer resembled a mobile steel tower. But the most awe-inspiring feature was the four Kuznetsov NK-1 2MA turboprop engines suspended beneath its wings. Each engine drove two sets of coaxial counter-rotating propellers with a diameter of 6.2 meters, emitting a signature, ear-splitting roar like tearing fabric, with a single engine producing a staggering 15,000 horsepower. This ferocious power plant not only made the An-22 the largest turboprop aircraft ever built by humans, but also endowed it with a feat that remains astonishing to this day: the ability to take off and land on unpaved field runways. Picture this scene, on the frozen tundra of Siberia or the muddy grasslands of Central Europe. This steel colossus roars to a halt. Its rear cargo door swings open, and a T-62 tank or a Smerk multiple rocket launcher rolls straight out, ready for battle. This concept of brutal, one-stop delivery from factory to battlefield represented the ultimate manifestation of Soviet deep operations doctrine in the airlift domain. Its tactical deterrence remained unmatched until the advent of the C-17 Globemaster III. Its performance figures speak to its formidable capabilities: a maximum takeoff weight of 250 tons, and a payload capacity of 80 tons, easily swallowing a main battle tank, or two armored infantry fighting vehicles. When carrying 40 tons of cargo, its range reached an astonishing 10,950 kilometers. Even fully loaded at 80 tons, its 5,000-kilometer range remained sufficient for cross-theater deployments. By comparison, the later, more widely recognized Ilyushin Il-76 falls significantly short in both payload capacity and off-field landing capabilities. The An-22 was more than just a transport aircraft. It embodied the aerial might of the Soviet Union. It executed countless critical missions, delivering military aid to Africa and the Middle East, transporting heavy equipment during the initial stages of the 1979 Afghan campaign, and even airdripping massive quantities of lead blocks and borax to seal the reactor after the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Its presence was the direct physical projection of the Red Empire's global footprint. Yet beneath the glory of this colossus lies an inherent complexity and a steep price. The NK-12 engine, while delivering immense power, featured a complex mechanical structure, demanding maintenance, and staggering fuel consumption. The massive airframe and traditional mechanical flight control systems placed extraordinary demands on the crew. More critically, after the Soviet Union's collapse, the vast ecosystem sustaining this intricate behemoth, from a dedicated parts supply chain and experienced engineering teams to unconditional financial backing, collapsed overnight. Russia inherited the fleet but not its life support system. Funding shortages made regular overhauls a luxury, while technical documentation vanished and skilled personnel aged and dispersed, causing the An-22's operational readiness to plummet year after year. Its astronomical per-flight hour maintenance costs increasingly rendered it a luxury exhibit in modern air forces prioritizing cost-effectiveness. From its former role as the backbone of strategic transport, it swiftly receded into secondary service, eventually becoming a museum aircraft requiring meticulous care for occasional appearances. By 2012, only 3 of the few surviving examples remained airworthy. Ultimately, only this lone F-09342 remained, a solitary dinosaur struggling in skies no longer meant for its kind. Thus, this crash, though appearing as a sudden accident, was in fact a farewell long in the making, over 3 decades in the making. It was the inevitable outcome of the combined forces of technological lifespan, economic logic, and historical progression. When this last An-22 vanished from radar screens, it signified the complete erasure of an entire model, a specific technological path, and even a particular military philosophy from active combat service. The world's airlift capabilities have fully entered the era of modern large jet transport aircraft, represented by the C-17 and Y-20. These aircraft are more efficient, more reliable, and better suited to the demands of modern battlefields and logistics management. The engineering era embodied by the An-22, one that relied on brute force, defied complexity, and pursued extreme single-parameter performance, has come to an end. Its demise marks a conclusion on multiple levels. First, it signifies a physical end. The roar of the An-22 will no longer echo across the skies. Second, it marks the loss of yet another top-tier heavy-lift asset from the Soviet era still in active service, further weakening the tangible link connecting modern Russia to its Soviet heritage. On a deeper level, it signifies a symbolic conclusion, has the national ambition and industrial confidence that dared to envision and realize such monumental, hardcore mechanical marvels also sunk with it. Our nostalgia for the An-22 extends beyond mere aircraft. It honors an era of audacious grandeur, a time when nations forged steel solutions to seemingly impossible military demands. Now, the marshes of Ivanovo have swallowed the last of these behemoths, and the waters will eventually calm, as if it never graced those skies. Yet the deep ruts it carved into aviation history, and its unique, roaring silhouette conquering the wilderness, will forever remain in memory and on film, an indelible legend of steel and propellers beneath the Cold War skies. An era closed its heavy pages as its final heartbeat ceased. Moonlight now bathes the marshes of Ivanovo, where lies not merely the wreckage of an aircraft, but the last sigh of an aerial empire that once ruled the skies.